Our own Jason Bellini, who spent the day with some of the 100,000 people now fleeing their homeland.
On a cold and miserable day at Medica border crossing in Poland, we saw what war does to families.
Yep. Yeah, she's got a bit of radio.
Mothers, wives, children. Most of the refugees here are women. Many have left their men behind. Irina Diduk is from the western city of Lviv. It took her more than 24 hours to get across the border with her mother, daughter, and their dog, Rocky.
We don't sleep because we have every time to move.
Irina told me she doesn't know where they will go, but is clear about why she left.
It's very simple because Putin start war in our country, and we can't understand what he will do.
You don't know what he's going to do.
And I think you also don't know what he will do, and no one knows because it's crazy, man.
There are fewer men in these crowds. Max is here because he's 17. Just young enough to be permitted to leave.
I'm feeling pretty tired. It's been non-stop walking for the past 30 hours.
3 hours?
30.
30 hours?
Yes. I haven't slept yet, so it's not exactly the most pleasant feeling in the world. Probably 9 kilometers from the border, we moved on our feet.
Across the border back home in Ukraine, fathers, sons, brothers are staying behind to fight. Any man between the ages of 18 and 60 is prohibited from leaving Ukraine and encouraged to sign up. Across Ukraine, they're taking up weapons, strapping on fatigues and body armor, preparing to defend and possibly die. The worst of the fighting inside Ukraine has been between soldiers, but residential buildings like this one in Kyiv have been hit. The choice facing families is to take refuge in places like metro stations or get out, even if it means breaking up the family.
Your husband, where is he?
There's some comfort here in Poland, a cup of hot coffee, sympathetic border authorities, but the pain of war, the pain of separation, is written on each and every face.
Jason Bellini joins us tonight. Jason, a few days ago, you were in this church basement. It was striking. You were showing what looked like, I'd call it catacombs, where people would eventually take shelter. Now we're seeing things like NICUs, very sick babies relocated to bomb shelters. And you start thinking, the mentally ill, the physically ill, they can't leave. What about Ukrainians who are stuck?
Oh, that's such a good point, Chance. And well, I think the first thing that we should point out is that most Ukrainians are stuck. There's been around 50,000, 40,000 refugees thus far in the last 48 hours. But I mean, considering the population, how big a country this is, that's just a very small number. And I think the important thing to recognize is that the border is set up in a way that you don't just like go marching on through. You have to be processed, and it's like one by one. It's a very slow, it's a trickle. Even though there's a flood of people who want to get out, it's just a trickle. And that brings me back to what you were just asking about. If the people I was talking to today who were...
All right. What up? Okay, it's been a while. Since I did a live stream. Yeah, so I mean, damn. Yeah, so the new hysteria has broken out. The new hysteria, the beer bug has been forgotten about. The beer bug has been forgotten about, and there's a new bandwagon to jump on. That bandwagon is, the new war. I mean, it's just like anything ever since 2020, like anything the media puts out, anything the media is pushing, anything the media is talking about, it's like you have to be totally suspicious of, you have to question everything, because the cat's out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. Like, you can never trust the media. You can never trust what the mainstream pushes. You have to be completely suspicious about it. Like, the beer bug was the biggest psyop that has ever taken place. And if they can pull that off, they can pull anything off, you know? So, you know, when you see, like, it was just, as soon as you see normies and like, you know, all these chicks, you know, as soon as, you know, this conflict broke out in Ukraine, like, all the fucking normies, all the same idiots that were like, you know, yapping on about, you know, the scary beer bug, you know, since 2020, you know, just all the Karens, all the fucking girls, just all the most annoying people that have been yapping on about it for years, literally years. As soon as this conflict broke out in Ukraine, yeah, all sharing their little stories and like, oh, white privilege, oh, like down with the patriarchy. Man, I've been seeing these idiots, these fucking dumb motherfucking idiots posting shit about the war in Ukraine is about white privilege, and it's like, these fucking idiots. Ukraine and Russia are both white countries for the, yeah, obviously for the for the most part. But I mean, just the kind of nonsense that you see coming out, you immediately have to become suspicious about the kind of shit you're being fed, because there's a lot of shit that you're being fed. Also change says, agree, question everything. Yeah, I mean, you have to question everything. I mean, there's no way you can go around, you know, believing anything what the media says. Like, you literally cannot believe anything they say, because they're full of shit for the most part. Like, literally full of shit, lies. Like, I mean, you know, does it like, do you remember the kind of the psyops that were going on like at the start of the beer bug? Like, the shit they pulled off. Like, they literally faked scenes. Honestly, like, I mean, I talked about it before. At the start of 2020, like when the very start of the beer bug, I was on the fence. I mean, I talked about, because I'd never been exposed to such like propaganda before, like that, like as extreme as that. Um, like, I mean, there was scenes from Italy where there's like, you know, and all of it was fake. I mean, they had literally fake Hollywood style like fakery going on. I mean, it fooled me. It fooled most people at the very start, but you know, gradually started to catch on. I mean, remember the scenes from China? I mean, there were scenes from China where they were like disinfecting the streets, like insane shit. Do you remember that shit? Like, there was these big massive trucks going around like disinfecting the streets, like this pumping out, like, I don't know what the fuck it was, but like pumping out like this disinfectant shit, like that was a psyop. That's absurd. Like, to think that they were doing that, to think that they were actually doing that, you know, disinfecting streets, like, you know, pumping out, it was all propaganda. It was all pure Hollywood shit. Like, it was garbage, like absolute ridiculous shit. So, like, you know, they pulled that off, like they were pulling on, and they pulled off all sorts of garbage. I mean, even in America, they were pulling off, you know, apparently there's a spot somewhere in New York where they dispose of bodies. They always dispose of bodies there, and it wasn't anything different from the beer bug. But you know, the news, the media covered it like, you know, they filmed them burying bodies or whatever. But that's a spot where that's a place where they disposed of bodies, like, people who didn't have families or whatever would be buried in this certain spot. But yeah, long story short, we were just exposed to a serious amount of propaganda. And now, again, we're being exposed to more hysteria. And I'm not saying there isn't any conflict. I'm just saying you have to question what you're being fed. I'm not saying that the conflict in Ukraine is fake, or that it's not actually real, but you have to wonder what the fuck is actually going on. What's really going on? Like, why is it, why is it really happening? Know your worth in house. What's up, man? What is good? Toloa in house. What's up, man? Hope you're well. Yeah, so it's just, like I said, as soon as you see the media and all the normies jumping on a bandwagon, something's up. Something's up. People are getting hysterical about, oh, there's gonna be nuclear war, there's gonna be this, that, and the other. There's not gonna be any nuclear war. There's not. That's not gonna be allowed. That's not gonna happen. There can't be any nuclear war. Like, there cannot be. There can't be. Because how could there be? Because it's like, it would be any country that launches a nuclear attack against another nuclear nation will get vaporized. Will get just turned into fucking glass. Like, it's just not gonna happen. It just can't happen. I mean, Russia has nukes, America has nukes, France has nukes, the UK has, like, there's not going to be any nuclear war. This is like kind of bullshit hysteria. There's not going to be that. It will be suicide. It will be suicide for any nuclear power to launch a nuclear weapon, because it's almost like it's like even in a street fight situation, like, the first person to make to make an attack is in actually in the most danger, because when someone attacks you, you have the right to defend yourself, like, with lethal force, with absolute lethal force, because someone's making an attack on you. So then you can retaliate with lethal force. So if the first person to launch any kind of nuclear attack is, like, they're dead. Like, they're just, their country, their people are just gone. Like, they're just gonna get fucking vaporized. So if America launched a nuclear attack against Russia, then Russia would vaporize America. Would vaporize. It would just, like, and probably China would too, and vice versa. If Russia launched an attack against America or anywhere like that, oh, it would just get wrecked. It would just be gone. Like, Russia, like, yeah, because obviously European countries and America could team up and just launch nukes on Russia, and it will be game over. So there's Anop V says it's mutually assured destruction. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Yeah, it's mutually assured destruction. It's just not going to happen. Neuer says Russia should have a 3-person key launch, but Putin usually gives the word. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, look up Russian, like, nuclear tests on YouTube. They have some serious fucking firepower, man. And there's videos from, like, the fucking 60s. I think there's something called the SAR bomb. It's just like, it's kind of bomb could, like, obliterate, like, completely obliterate any large city, like completely turn it to dust. But so I mean, if they had that in the 60s, I mean, they obviously have way more powerful stuff now, way better technology. Uh, Rabbit Travels says, "Do Japanese guys not cock block you at all, Mac? Different topic, but it's relevant to my channel. So yeah, I mean, Japanese guys, yeah, they do, yeah. I mean, and it's not only Japanese guys. I mean, it's just guys in general, guys, girls. Cock blocking comes from all sorts. It doesn't. All kinds of people cock block. It's not only Japanese guys. It's like girls, guys, you name it. Anyone that can cock block will try and cock block. A lot of people try and make it difficult for you to get laid. They don't like you getting laid. A lot of people don't like it. The girls' friends, like that's why nightlife is can be is it can be annoying because there's a lot of cock blocking going on. There's very little, whenever I do day game, cold approach is the best way to not get cock blocked, because generally when you do cold approach with day game, you're approaching a girl that's alone. She's alone. She's not with anyone, so there's no one to cock block you. There's no one to be to get in between you and that pussy. So but yeah, nightlife is just a fucking minefield of cock blocking from Japanese guys, from all sorts. But yeah, Japanese guys have their own particular ways of cock blocking, but I have my ways to deal with it. There's some blatant, there's it can happen like in nightlife in Japan, where you'll be in a bar or something, and you'll be talking to a girl, and some Japanese guy will just butt in and say the famous opening line that they'll say is, "Where are you from?" And it's like, dude, I'm talking to a chick. Like, what do you mean, where am I from? Like, why are you talking to me? Like, I'm talking to a chick. But I don't know. It's just, you can expect stupidity and when people are drunk in bars and stuff. But to answer your question, I mean, cockblocking happens from everyone. Like foreign guys, not only Japanese guys, foreign guys. Like there's dickheads out there. There's just dickheads. There's bitches. There's little. I mean, I remember I was like the most annoying cockblock that I can remember. Probably happened maybe a month ago. It's probably a month ago at this point. But I was in this nightclub, and this girl gave me an IOI. She gives me an IOI, and she so I roll up to her. She's in a little group. She's in a group of friends, but they're kind of standing around. It's. So I open her. I can't remember what I said, but she says, "Are you from the country?" I was like, "What country? I'm from which country?" Yeah, I didn't know what she meant, and I eventually turned out she's asking, "Am I from the countryside?" But I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Ireland." Like, I mean, I'm kind of from the country, I guess. But I was talking to her. She was hot, like she was a fucking hot girl. But she was the hottest girl of all her friends. The hottest girl of all her friends. And there was this pig looking girl. There was this piggish looking fat little girl giving me, like, one of her friends just giving me death stares just while I was talking to her, just giving me dirty looks. There's her fat little piggy face was giving me dirty looks for no reason. I was just, and suddenly, uh, yeah, but I guess they didn't know I could speak Japanese, because the bitch I was talking to, suddenly she noticed that her friend was giving me dirty looks. So she looks at her friend and she starts speaking Japanese to her, and I'm standing right there, like, and she says, "What's up?" to her friend, and then she says, she says it in Japanese, but uh, she says the Japanese word for an ugly guy is busaiku. Busaiku. So her friend says busaiku, and I'm like, you little fucking yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was, little the cheeky little bitch said, right in front of me, like she basically said it to me, busaiku. Her fat little piggy friend said busaiku to me. Well, she said it to her friend, but she was basically saying it to me because I can understand what she looked at me and she's like busaiku, and this the thing, this is how, because women, like, they need to get, like, if one of their friends don't like you, you're out, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the girl likes you, that doesn't really matter. It matters what her friends think, because women are little sheep, they're little herd creatures. Oh, so I was not in the mood for it, and I just said to the little fat piggy, I said, "Who you calling a busaiku, you fat little pig?" And yeah, she didn't like that at all. But it's just like, cheeky little bitch. She thought I couldn't speak Japanese. Of course, I understand what she was saying, but it's just the irony of it. The irony of this little piggy calling me like an ugly guy, or like a busaiku. Busaiku. It's like the word for, I get, in Japan, like, if you want to call a girl ugly, you say busu. It means like it means female. It means female pig, busu, or ugly. Yeah. And busaiku, I think, is the male version. Busaiku is, but yeah, it is. She was unbangable. Like, she was unbangable, and she was a cheeky little bitch. Like, saying, like, just imagine how ignorant and fucking rude that is. Like, I would never do that. I would just never do that. Even if one of my boys was like trying to, like, talk to this girl, and I thought she was ugly as fuck, I would never say in front of the girl, like, I would never say to her face, like, "Yo, dude, she's fucking ugly." I wouldn't it's just ignorant. It's just ignorant. I'm not, I'm a savage, but I'm not an ignorant cunt, I'm not an ignorant cunt. But the irony of the girl, like, who was a little fat little piggy, just saying to me, basically, "You're ugly." And while I'm talking to her hot friend, who gave me the IOI, who was like, literally, like, pretty much called me over, like, um who was like, staring at me, like, wanted to talk, clearly wanted to talk. I went over, introduced myself. She was very receptive. She was like talking to me. But as soon as her little piggy friend, said, like, "Oh, like, no, not him, no, busaiku," she was out. Like, she checked out. Like, I could see immediately she checked out. She didn't want to talk to me anymore. So I just burnt the bridge. I was like, "Who you calling a busaiku, you fat little piggy bitch?" And yeah, she was kind of shocked, because like, "Oh, you want, like," the irony of these little hoes, man. Like, this is why nightlife is frustrating, like, because you have to deal with these little fucking fat little drunk girls, and and just annoying people in general. Like, you're going out at night, people are drinking alcohol, you're gonna deal with little fat annoying people, and little stupid fuckers, like the funny thing, she looked offended when I said that to her. She was offended, and it's like, "You little piggy, you just, like, I mean, you give it out. If you're gonna give it out, if you're gonna be offensive and abusive to people, don't get offended when someone else, says it back to you. Like, like." But it's funny, man. I don't know. It's funny. I mean, it was, it's, of course I'm gonna say that, little bitch, but yeah. So girls, guys, all kinds of people cock block. Not only guys. It just comes from everywhere. Comes from everywhere. Um, Rabbit Travel says, "I imagine them being quite beta, so that's why I ask. It would be pretty white and Nightish." Yeah, I mean, Usually, if a Japanese guy just comes over and tries to cock block like that, I'll just tell him, I mean, it depends on the situation, but if it's a blatant cock block, I'll be like, yeah, sorry, man, I'm busy here. Like, fuck off, basically. Um, yeah, but you know, it's just a part of the going out. People are gonna try and cock block. But yeah, I never get in a fight. Like that's one thing I always like. I never get in a fight. Like don't fight over any, but it's not worth it. Like it's not worth it. There's been times where it's been times where I've could have gotten in. I mean, there's opportunities to get in fights every night I go out, basically. But I'm gonna avoid a fight. It's not worth fighting over a bitch. Like there's one thing that's true is just it's not worth fighting over a bitch. Um, like the last time, another time I was cock blocked. It was funny enough. It was the same night. Same night. Um, Same night. So I'm talking to this girl, and I'm about to take her to have a drink with her. And she's down, and one of her, apparently her male friend, little beta looking guy, little dude. Like I could have like, I could have mauled this guy. Not even it just even the size difference. I could have mauled him. But he was a cheeky little bastard. So he goes, he comes up and kind of comes, oh, she's my friend. She's my friend. I was like, yeah. So like we're gonna go. I was taking her. I was trying to take her to have a drink, and he was like getting in. Oh, she's my friend. She's my friend, and he was kind of pulling her back. So I was just like, at that, when a dude like, when a dude does something like that, I'll just ask the girl like, do you know him? Like, is he your friend or like what? Because if it's not like her friend or anything, I'll just like obviously have to like deal with him, because that's way too ignorant. But if it is her friend and like it's basically up to the girl at that point. So you ask the girl like, what do you want to do? Do you want to come with me or do you want to go with your friend or what? Like, because I'm not fighting over some bitch, right? They're not worth it. Like they're not worth fighting over. Like, I mean, I'm not, gonna beat someone's ass just for some silly bitch that you don't even know, that would never have your back. So, she was like, oh yeah, she basically said, oh yeah, he's my friend. So I was like, do you want to go with him or do you want to go with me? Like, because I'm not, he's being a little cunt. So yeah, she went and she went with him. But this is the kind of shit, the people with cock block guys, a lot of guys get a few drinks into them and they get way too brave. Like way too brave. But still, you gotta like, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's not worth beating someone's ass over. Like if it comes down to it and you need to, like if you're backed into a corner, or if someone attacks you or someone does something like throws a drink at you, yeah, like stand up for yourself, fucking defend yourself, beat their ass. But like until it comes to that, yeah, I would just say avoid like physical confrontations. Like even a small physical confrontation can lead to a lot of fucking shit. Like a lot of shit. Like even just a small thing can get you in a lot of trouble. Like even just like at one punch or like anything like that. Like especially when you're dealing with a weasel, because they'll make a big deal out of it and try and get in trouble. Yeah, man. Speaking of weasels, yes, when was it? I think it was a few days ago. Yeah, a few days ago I was over at a friend's house, and he's he was how do I explain this? Yeah, so he lives in a tower mansion, like an apartment building, and his his friend was supposed to come and meet us as well, and he got in a physical altercation with some American. This was a Japanese guy, and apparently, anyway, so the American guy was in the elevator, and the door opened, and the Japanese guy was coming in to the elevator, and the Japanese guy wasn't wearing a mask, which is kind of unusual because most Japanese people wear masks. But this guy is pretty based, I guess, because I only hang out with pretty red pill based people. But the American guy kicked up a fuss because he wasn't wearing a mask. Some fucking middle-aged dickhead started saying, "Oh, where's your mask? Where's your mask?" Anyway, long story short, broke out into an altercation. Even though the American guy started the altercation, and they got into a physical altercation, the American guy called the cops. Wanker, man. If that had been me, I would. If that had been me, I would be in jail by now. I would be in jail. I am begging for some dickhead to do that to me. For some dickhead to start a physical altercation with me over not wearing a mask, I'm over that. I'm so glad that wasn't. Well, man, I would have messed that guy up. And it was funny because it was actually, I saw a video of it. There was a bit of a short video of the scuffle. But man, I would have dragged that guy out of the elevator. Like, if he, see, that's what I was saying. Like, if someone starts a physical altercation with you, you have the right to be way more violent to them. So that's why you should always really try and avoid it. But if someone starts with you, you have the right to really mess them up. Like, really, just like take one fucking haymaker, like connect with their chin, just like you can really like just knock them clean out. Just a clean punch to the jaw. It's like very like a full fucking haymaker right into the jaw. Then see what happens then. But I would have, that would have been a different situation if I had been there. It would have been. I would have this shit is just like, there's sometimes you come across certain people, they need to get dealt with. But it's kind of, anyway, that's kind of a side note. But the world is full of dickheads. The world is full of dickheads, and they're out there. But so I mean, today's topic was about are men and women equal? And the answer is obviously not. But it's funny. Let me see. Tolowa says, "What would you do if a woman punched you, then play the 'he's attacking me' card?" I mean, I believe in equal rights and equal lefts. That's what I believe in. But I mean, if a woman punches me, she's getting punched. Like, straight up. It's the same thing. I mean, I'm not gonna take any punch from anyone. It's like, I don't think men and women are equal. So like, but it's like the feminist narrative is that men and women are equal. So if they're gonna go around throwing punches, then they have to be ready to take a punch back. It's like there was that famous Antifa. There was an Antifa protest, and there was some woman, and she had some weapon, and she went to try and hit a guy, and she got knocked clean out. And then there was this whole thing, oh my God, violence against women. It's like, That's the kind of weaselness, the kind of the just this kind of lefty progressive weaselness, like the cowardliness of these kinds of people. Like, you know, it's like the hypocrisy of it. You know, it's like the guy in the elevator, the American guy that kicked up a fuss. He's the one that started the physical altercation with the Japanese guy over the mask, but it was the American guy that called the cops. That kind of ridiculous hypocrisy. So there's going to be no. I'm not going to be getting punched by any woman and letting. I'm not going to be like a trad con. Like, oh, I don't hit any woman. It's like, you know, equal rights and equal lefts, right? If someone hits me, I'm going to hit them back. Probably the only exception would be if a child hit me. I'm not gonna deck a child, right? You know, but yeah, man, if a man or a woman attacks me, I'm gonna give them a good, like, give them just take them out, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's all, I mean, there's sometimes you have to, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's a woman, it's pretty much guaranteed that. But like, every situation is different. Every situation is different. I mean, if like sometimes you have to retreat. Sometimes you have to retreat. It depends on the situation, the circumstance. Like if you're if you're in some I don't know, some bar and you're alone and it's a sketchy bar and some woman is with all these fucking gangster looking dudes and the woman hits you, are you gonna hit her back and then get knifed by get murdered by all the guys that she's with? So like each situation is different, you know. Sometimes it's just best to retreat. It's not always best, you know. Just yeah. Anyway, appliance guy says when women act masculine, they just invite masculine treatment. A slap is one thing, but a punch is another level. Yeah, I mean, women get way too brave. Like, you know, you can go and see these world star hip hop videos of just of women getting way too brave. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, they've been watching way too many, you know, empowerment, boss bitch videos and shit. Like, they get way too brave. The reality is, you know, they're you know, a man versus a woman is just not, it's not going to work out well. It's not going to work out well. Like I said, like the probably the best female fighter in the world, like, could get the shit beaten out of her by like your average dude. Like your average dude that trains. Like, this shit that women can fight and women are like you know, can beat, you know, can somehow overpower a man and, you know, kick their ass, you know, like in one of those superhero movies. Nah, they can't. That's why there's even in that's why in fighting, I mean, even in the male in male combat sports, obviously there's weight classes. I mean, it's just like there's different weight classes. There's different, like, you know, a lightweight can't fight a heavyweight and vice versa. You know, it just, men and women are just a different class. It's a completely different class. But they've been told, they've been lied to that, oh, they're the same, but they're not. They're not. It always comes true, man. It always. I mean, it's so funny. It always comes. I met a girl yesterday. I met a girl yesterday that it was so funny. She was telling me how, like, she was telling me, what was it? She was telling me how she's done with her party. Like, she's not a party girl anymore. When a girl tells me that she's not a party girl anymore, that tells me that she's had a bunch of dick. If a girl ever tells you I'm not a party girl anymore, she's basically, that's womanese for telling you, oh yeah, I've I've had quite a few dicks in my time. That's what she's saying. But yeah, I mean, it's the same how these girls say, you know, on dating apps, no one night stands, no sex friends, no friends with benefits, and then they come through and then you bang them anyway. It's just like, don't listen to what these women say. Watch what they do. Well, I mean, do listen to what they say, but I mean, it's all twisted. It doesn't mean what they say. One thing, it means another thing. It's just what you have to learn to decipher what these women are actually saying. Toloa says, "What's your thoughts on a man's journey and how he can succeed in life versus a woman's journey and how they can succeed?" I mean, that's a deep enough question there. Um, I mean, a man, a man obviously, it's obviously said a lot, but a man obviously has to be about his purpose. Like, a man has to become, like, men are made, women just are. And I truly believe that. Like, women have been sold a lie that they have to become like a man. Like, they have to become, oh, women can make themselves. And it's like even at the most fundamental levels, I mean, like a hot woman's a hot woman. There's certain things she can do to make herself hotter, like, like diet, eat well, or I don't even believe going to the gym. Like, some of the hottest girls I've been with have never even been to a gym. They don't play any sports. It's like they're not made, they just are, you know. As long as if they diet, they don't eat like gluttons and become really fat. That's the women, they just aren't, dress well and wearing some nice makeup or stuff like that. But in general, like, either woman's genetics, like, she is what she is for the most part. She's either hot or she's not. Like, obviously she can decorate herself better and do this, that, and the other, but yeah, her structure she is what she is. But a man can literally be men. If a man doesn't make himself, he's he's beta. Like, in a way, we're all born beta. Men have to be made. Like, we're all born beta. It's like, if you don't do anything, you will be beta. You will be, you'll be soft, flabby, weak. You'll be feminine. You'll be feminine if you don't make yourself. So, men have to just struggle and grind and find something, that they like doing, or just find a passion and pursue it. Because once you have a passion, once you have like a goal, then you're going to have confidence. A lot of the reasons, guys have confidence issues is because they don't have anything to talk about. They don't have any kind of aspirations. They don't have any goal. And when you don't have something like that, you're gonna, like, you lack self-confidence, because you're not gonna be sure about about yourself. But I think women should, it's up to women whatever the fuck they want to do. But I think women have basically been sold a massive lie and about being a career and a boss woman and all that. But ultimately, it always reveals itself, because at the end of the day, what women want is to find a high quality man, get married and have children. Because ultimately, marriage is not really for men. I'm not a tradcon at all. Like, I genuinely believe that marriage really is for the protection and for the benefit of women, and it always has been, really. Like, I mean, it in this day and age, it really doesn't benefit men to get married. I don't see how it would. I mean, especially for like guys that are like alpha and successful. It's like, what is the point? What is the point in getting married when you can have multiple women like in your life? You can have every guy at a base level wants to get with a lot of women. Um, I'm 33 years old right now, and I don't see myself not wanting. I don't see myself ever just wanting to be with just one woman. That's not. I don't see, that would be way too boring for me. That would be way too. Yeah, it'd be like celibacy. Like the thing is, like the it's almost like your sexual attraction. If you're with someone for long enough, your sexual attraction to them will get so low over time. It's like a battery. Like when you first meet a woman, your battery is like charged 100%. You're like super sexually attracted to them. But over time, that sexual attraction just gets less and less, like, and it depends on the girl, and it depends on, how often you meet her, and this, that, and the other. But if you hook up with a woman and date her and bang her and, get married to her, over time, your sexual attraction to her is gonna be like so low over time, because it's just like, but maybe that's just me, because I've been with so many women. And I like variety. I like new, but I think in general, that's pretty much the same for most guys. And I think a lot of guys will get married out of scarcity as well, because they're blue pill and all that. Tolwa says, so true, and that also is doubling down on why we are not equal. Indeed. But yeah, no, there's really no equality. I mean, look at what's going on in Ukraine. I mean, who knows what's really going on? But where's the equality when like 18 to 60-year-old men have to stay in the country? They're not allowed to leave. Meanwhile, women can leave. I mean, even in Korea, South Korea, like women don't have to. There's no mandatory military service in Korea for women, but males have to join the army for 2 years. I think it's when they graduate university. They have to join the army for 2 full years. That's still in place. That still happens, and it's like, and it's funny because Korean women are so like, they're on the feminist bandwagon too. They're on that shit, and they're like still complaining about. I noticed it even when I went over to Korea. I just went there for a short trip, but I noticed the behavior of women was very westernized. The way I would describe Korea is like it's it felt like a mixture of China and American culture. Just like this, girls were aggressive, loud, noisy, but there's no equality there, but when obviously when war breaks out, feminism goes out the window. Absolutely gone. Let me share this. Feminist Giant essay: The Feminist Response to War. I refuse to be a combatant on behalf of patriarchy. I declare war instead against patriarchy. Yeah. Yep. War against the patriarchy. The feminist response to war is to incite sedition and treason. It is to demand in the loudest voice possible for mutiny against patriarchy. I am not a pacifist, but I refuse to be a combatant on behalf of patriarchy. I declare war against patriarchy instead of supporting wars between patriarchies. The feminist response to war is to contest the definition of war. The common definition is patriarchy doing to enemy men what it does to the rest of us every day, only with rules and conventions and uniforms, as if the regimentation and discipline glosses over the absolute barbarism that is war. That is the definition that cisgender heterosexual men are most fond of because they are ever ready, whenever patriarchal violence against the rest of us is mentioned, to remind us of how many men have died in wars, as if it were not patriarchy that sent them marching to their deaths, as if it were a defense of patriarchal violence that men too die by patriarchal violence. As if the wars of men against other men harmed only men. Well, it's mostly men that get harmed in wars. But you know, the interesting thing, I don't know how true it was, but I saw something about what was it? It was Russian soldiers using Tinder to match with Ukrainian chicks, and I don't know how, you know, it might be just might be a bit of a bombastic headline. I can't really imagine how they would get the time or how they would actually the logistics of active soldiers while they're invading a country getting time to like go on dates with chicks. It doesn't sound very realistic, but the sentiment, the idea is true. The idea is true. Like the concept of war brides. Like war brides is very real. Like war brides is when women end up hooking up with procreating or marrying the enemy, you know, the men that kill their fathers, brothers, husbands, sons, and they end up marrying them or procreating with them, and you know, treasonous basically. Yeah, but extremely, it's like betrayal at the highest, the most brutal form of betrayal. And that's what a war bride is. A war bride, and you know, it's a survival. Honestly, it's like a survival. It's a female's way of survival. Females have evolved to be able to do that, to be able to stomach, you know, being with men that kill their you know, their countrymen, that kill their even, you know, literally it could be something as extreme as you know, an army coming in, or a man coming in, a soldier coming in, killing her husband, killing her, and then, you know, ending that woman ending up, you know, hooking up with and procreating or marrying the soldier. You know, kind of like it's like the male lion kills, you know, the pride leader, and then it would kill the offspring to get the female into heat. I mean, there's some comparisons as what happens in war, and it can happen indirectly too. It can happen like indirectly. It might not be directly. The soldier might not have directly killed her husband, but it has killed men from her country, and then, you know, the woman hooks up, marries or procreates with the invading forces. I mean, this happens all throughout in all kinds of conflicts. I mean, it happened in I mean, it happened in the Second World War. It happened, I mean, as recently. I mean, there's all kinds of wars happening all over the world all the time. It's not. It's just like the media chooses to shine the light on the particular conflict happening in in Ukraine. I guess since it's first world countries or whatever, they're just, I don't know, that's going to get the most clicks, going to get the most views, it's going to get the most attention. Know Your Worth says there are millions of women and children leaving the war. Yeah, I mean, they're better off, because even if they stayed, they're not going to be able to fight. This idea that women are able to fight and they're boss bitches and they're just not going to. They're just like a highly trained female in the military or army. It's just going to be a shitty male. It's just going to be a shitty male. That's all it is. Like, let me repeat that: a highly trained, army, woman in the military or army, it's just gonna be like a shitty, like, dude. Like, it's just gonna it's gonna be overpowered. It's gonna be emotional. It's not gonna be able to, it's gonna get killed. It's gonna get killed. It's not, not gonna be good. Women shouldn't fight. Women shouldn't fight in wars. They're not capable of it. They're not capable of it, and it's not a good idea. But yeah, I mean, weird times we live in, weird times. But you got to question everything. Have to question everything. I mean, I'm just skeptical of the whole narrative. Like, it's just a very suspicious time. Anna V says, I have friends who are still in Kiev. Heartbreaking thinking of them and their parents. Yeah, man, it sucks, man. Really fucking sucks. There's one thing, man, I would hate to, I would absolutely hate to have to get involved. I mean, I would never want to fight for the West at this point. Not because I'm a fucking coward, just because I don't want to. I despise Western politicians. I fucking despise politicians. I despise them. I hate what's become of the West. I hate it. I hate it so much. So, like, to think that I'm gonna go and give my life to possibly get severely wounded or die for these wankers, these bastards, the fuck out of here, man. God damn it. Like, really, it's just such an unfortunate thing. I mean, it's like, obviously it's different when you have to defend yourself, but I mean, Appliance Guy says, I don't even watching women involved in MMA. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of female MMA, to be honest. Just don't really like watching it. Yeah, it's just kind of weird when I see women fighting. It just doesn't seem right. It seems weird. Yeah. When I see, yeah, it's the thing about Japan is that Japanese women, they're so feminine. Like, I can't even imagine. I can't, like, I've never seen Japanese girls have a fight or have a brawl or anything like that. But you go to a Western country and you go out, you go to a night or some ratchet club, you're gonna see some bitches like fighting each other, nasty bitches. It's so masculine. It's disgusting, really. But yeah, you would never see that in Japan. Know your word. It says best female sport: wet t-shirt contest or car wash. I agree, 100%. Wet t-shirt contest. God damn, hell yeah. Yeah, man. God bless Japan. God bless Japan. God bless Japan and its feminine women, because yeah, it's funny if when foreign women come over to Japan, they just can't compete. They cannot compete. It's just like they're yeah, they can't they don't generally last here very long. Guys come over. I came over to Japan thinking I was only going to be here a year. I literally thought, yeah, I'll go over to Japan, live here and check it out. Coming over just intending just to stay for a year, maybe two. I didn't know. I came open minded, but like, it's just better. It's just a better spot. Like, if you're, as long as my libido remains high, like, it's just not a place I'm going to want to leave. And that's not the only aspect. I mean, it's not the only thing. I didn't come here for the women. I just wanted to live in a foreign country. But comparing all things considered, it's just a better spot to be in. Yeah, it's like it's like a paradise in some kind of ways. Especially if you're a single man, single straight male, it's it's a paradise in many ways. Yeah, it's just plenty of options. Plenty of options indeed. But yeah, guys, I mean, I don't know. I just wouldn't get caught up in all the bullshit. There's always going to be bullshit spouted out there. There's always going to be some new fucking craze, some new hysteria. It sucks what's going on in Ukraine. Wars suck, all that shit. But yeah, it's important to look at what's what's the agenda. What is the agenda actually? Because it's it's generally money. Like with the whole beer bug, it's all about control, power, and money. That was pretty, there was so much, like, billions, trillions to be made from the whole beer bug. But what's the agenda with this new hysteria in Ukraine? What is the point? Who knows? Time will tell. Time will tell. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just I'm out here minding my own business in Japan, banging hoes, and living the player lifestyle. Because that's the only lifestyle I know how to live. And not bored of it, not getting bored of it anytime soon. Let me see this. Let me show you something from last night. God bless Japan. God bless Japan. Who said Japanese girls don't have booty? This girl has booty. Last night. Home delivery. Straight up home delivery. Japan is a paradise in many ways. On back to the topic. Back to a more serious topic. Neuwirth says, I am Ukrainian and I can explain. This one has to do with ethnic superiority and power, in my honest opinion. Interesting. All right. So yeah. Interesting, yeah. But hopefully that shit can be resolved sooner rather than later. But who knows? These kind of things tend to drag out for a long time. But yeah, guys, by the way, actually, if you're interested in mindset, day game mindset, let me check. Check out the link in the description, because I did. You can download a mindset, just some tutorials about mindset that I put together. Yeah, so check it out. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. Just download it. Help your mindset out. Just put the link in the chat there. So, yeah, honestly, I mean, one of the things about doing day game is that mindset is actually a really important aspect of it. If you have the wrong mindset, if you don't have the right mindset, then yeah, you're just not going to be as successful at it. So yeah, check out that link, download it, watch it, and you're going to have a better mindset regarding approaching hot women and being more successful with them. So check that out. Your word says right now it sets up a China West narrative. Yeah, China doesn't give a fuck. China doesn't give a fuck about the West. The West is in decline. Enjoy the decline, fellows. Enjoy the decline. So someone asked me yesterday, like, do you not want to go back to Ireland? And I was like, nope. I want to visit, but like, if you the genuinely honest answer, like genuinely, like, do I have any desire to live in Ireland? It's a genuine no. Like, I genuinely do not. I do want to visit. I want to go back and visit people, but living there, nah, man. It's just not as good a deal. It's just not as good a deal. It's just easier. It's easier to live this player lifestyle in a country with so many beautiful, hot, feminine, fashionable, sexy girls. And there's no shortage of that in Asia. And it's not only Japan. I mean, if possible, I would recommend to anyone, if you're wanting to get out, get out of a Western country, I highly recommend coming to some Asian country. And you'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll be pleasantly surprised how different the women are over here. Way different. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go for a run. I've been running recently, as well as doing calisthenics. But gonna get coming around. Gonna get fucking fit as fuck for spring and summer. Gotta be done. So like I said, check out that link again in the description. Download it. Help your mindset out. And start cold approaching hot girls. It's the best way to get the best bang for your buck, undoubtedly. Better than dating apps, better than night game. But until then, guys, I'll probably put together more regular streaming times. I haven't been doing it regularly, but yeah, as usual, hit me up if you want to do a consultation. Go to macthedaygamer.com. Hit me up, book a consult. Can sort out your dating life. We're all different. We all have different scenarios, different situations. It's not like a one size fits all solution regarding improving your dating or sex life. It varies from person to person. One solution might work for one guy, it might not work for another, but it's definitely possible. So have a good one, guys. Peace out. Bye bye.